21 years old. So I'm sorry guys, I couldn't open my camera since I got a fever. I hope you don't mind me. So thank you guys for being here. We are going to talk about coping with the uncertainty of the future between dispositional optimism and depression of youth. What interests me to talk about this is because in this era, we know that parents are aimed at teenagers to have some goals for their life. So I hope that each of you will be motivated and eager sharing your perspective in regard to this theme. So now let's move on to the first page. So Mrs. Sunshine. So the first slide is, the question is, are you a typical person to think more about present or future? So don't forget to raise your hand so I can see any of you would to like to give your opinion. So Mr. I'm sorry, Mr. Dania or Miss Dania? Here the first one.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
I'm Miss Dania.
Miss
Okay.
Dania.
I think I'm a person who think more about future than present. I don't know why. I'm a lot of worries about futures. What will happen in future? I'm doing something. I'm thinking a lot about possible things that will happen if I'm doing it in the future. Something like that. But it's actually, I'm realized that the most important is that to think about something that I can do in this time in present than overthinking about future. But you know, it's kind of difficult to make it, to do it. Yeah. That's my opinion.
So
yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your opinion, Miss Dania. So is there any other opinions about this? So let's see who. Since I don't see any of you who raise your hand, so I'm gonna choose one of you to share your perspective.
Miss Sarina.
How about
Miss Sarina?
Yeah, I see.
You can take a look in the participants.
Uh-huh.
Okay. In the participants, there will be everyone raising their hand. You can notice that from that section. Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Sunshine. I can't hear you clearly.
Oh yeah, you can see why those people raising their hands in the participant box or participant section. Okay. There would be number of participants raising their hands there.
Participants.
Okay.
I see.
Or you maybe can just see my chat.
Okay. Okay, I'm sorry about this. So let's start first with Mr. Fadil. Hello, Mr. Fadil.
Hello, Miss Arina.
Hello.
Is that my voice is clear enough?
Yes.
to hear? Okay,
Yes.
thank you for this opportunity. In my opinion, actually,
Mm.
I'm the kind of person who prefer to choose a future because mostly in my daily routine, I got overthinking a lot about future, and this is really make me dizzy and feel uncomfortable because I need to know and was that prepare a lot thing about what should I do for my future because I avoid my mistake my second mistake from my family for my future. So it means that I'm the kind of typical person think more about the future than present. If I know what should I do in the, or what can I get in the future, it means that I will know what should I do in the present, and it will help me for knowing my to-do list in my present. I guess that all.
I see. So your opinion kind of same like from Miss Dania perspective, right?
Yeah,
So
I guess so.
thank you for your opinion.
Take it.
So let's move on to Mr. Jans. Mr. Jans.
I'm here, Miss.
Okay. So can you go on with your opinion, please?
Okay, thank you for the occasion that given by Miss Sherina.
Um,
Uh, as long as I'm concerned for this kind of question, I think I'm a typical person who are concerned about the present because what we will achieve in the future is what we are doing in present day. So I think as whether I sometimes think more about the future, but I'm still care about the present because the present is determine what we will achieve in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yan. So, Mr. Yan, his opinion is we have to care about present and also we should care about future too. So, let's next to Mr. Sohihuzini.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Well, to answer this question, I have my own perspective that said present time will decide what will happen in the future. So actually, both of them are important. But to say which one is prefer, which one is more preferred to be my choice is a future. But in this opportunity, I have two kind of futures in my mind. There are short term and also there is short term. There are short term, also long term. In the long term means what will we do maybe in the scale of days or even weeks. But in the long terms, what will we do in the scale of months or even years? So I typical person who think about how my future will be, even though 2 days later, what will I do? Like, what will I do in the future? I will always concern about that. Moreover, to think about what will happen next years, what will happen in the next months. Concerning about that is basically my overthinking every single day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sohi Huzini. So let's move on to Mr. Abi Suhada Putra.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening for all. Thank you for the opportunity, Ms. Sabrina. In my perspective, if I take to the percentage, my thing about the future is about 25%, and I will think about the present is 75%. How come? In the future, in the thinking of the future, I think this is make I should made a decision plan or the plan for the future, and then the execution, and then the um, the process in the present. I will more concerned about the present because the process is due by day and step percentage to my process, to my present thing. This is for me enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Abi. So let's move on to Mr. Satrio. Hello, Mr. Satrio.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, Mr. Satrio, can you start giving your opinion?
Okay, thank you for this
Okay,
great chance.
but I'm sorry, but your voice is too. I cannot hear clearly.
I'm sorry. I have a problem with the internet here. Am I audible now?
Ah, yes.
Okay,
Okay, so
thank you.
let's start. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Miss Sherina, for this great opportunity that you have given to me tonight. Regarding to this question, am I a typical person to think more about the present or the future? I would say that it is important to know and to understand that we have to understand ourselves first before we talk about the present plan or the future plan of our life. I guess I about my present life and as well and my future life as well. But we don't have think too much about the future because we live in our future. It is important to have a plan with our future life, but it's not too good if we think too much about our future. So just enjoy your life and then just create uh, just creating thing that you can to handle your future. So it's about my opinion on this question.
So from Mr. Satrio perspective, he's like enjoying the time, the present time, right? So thank you, Mr. Satrio. So let's move on to Mr. or Miss Nurli.
Hello, good evening,
Ah,
everyone.
hello, Nurli.
Sorry, my name is
Evening.
Nurlita.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The topic is: Are you a typical person to think more about present or future? Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'm the always to think about the future because without without apa ya without I
Mm-hmm.
live have plan, but if I uh, gagal at
Oh,
gagal
if fail.
failed,
Uh-huh.
uh, I have option
Another
another
option.
option.
I see.
Yes, right. So and I always do long long thing. So yeah, I'm always to think about the future. Okay.
Miss Nurli, you unmute yourself, or are you done? Miss Sharina?
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you for this topic. So I think there are two kind or two type perspective from all of you to think more about present. uh, I mean to think about the future or living the present. Right. So yes, for me, we know that maybe it's not easy to achieve our goals, right? In the future, there's some maybe fail or there's some maybe success. So from this issue, maybe some of us will be disappointed and become depressed. But I hope you guys not just give up on everything when you felt about something, because we still have many change to chase our dreams, right? So yes, this is enough for this slide. So let's move on to next slide. Having a well-structured plan for the future, do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So is there anyone who wants to share your opinion, guys?
I raise hand from
Oh,
2 years
I'm
ago.
I'm sorry, Mr. Sunshine. So I thought okay,
You are so
Mr.
mean.
Sunshine. So no, I thought you only giving the example for the right hand. So let's start.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ho, for the sympathy. Okay, before responding toward this slide, I'd like to deliver my view on the previous slide. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. Shannon, I could still remember the question within this slide. So, anyway, we consider what we think strongly depends on what we deem or what we assume the most urgent for us. So you think about the future when you consider it really matter toward your present, or you think your present truly something urgent that you cannot easily ignore. If you think that only by thinking the present, your future will follow. Okay. And somehow it depends on the personality of people. EFNG, ENFT, and several types of personalities will also um, provide a different approach toward how they perceive their future and presence. Okay, probably we ever recognize that there are some people whose type of personalities like visionary, fighters, adventurers, silencer. Okay, there would be colors of personalities that would also tend to influence. Okay, the way of how they consider the future and the presence. Okay, so that's my short comment on the previous slide. About this slide, okay, probably you can scroll it down a little, Miss Sharina, because yeah, okay, just a bit. Okay, so frankly speaking, I'm not that really a structured person. Okay, I tend to mess up my days, and yeah, sometimes even though I was like graduated from management major, it doesn't necessarily mean that I can manage my life better. Okay. Many times I ask some of my friends about how to tidy up our life. Yeah, they tend to advise me on how to make a to-do list. Okay, a list of activities that we need to do in a day would also structurize and help us to efficiently execute our plans. But frankly speaking, if I have a well-structured plan for the future, I believe that the advantages will exactly or automatically outweigh or overlap disadvantages, because even though sometimes some people would say that, oh my God, how can you live your life based on such a rigid and strict rules? Okay, But some others would say that if we are not that disciplined, okay, we couldn't result the expected life that we want. Okay, because to become a successful businessman or to be proficient, skillful in your field, in everyone's field, we need to be disciplined. Discipline must have a commitment. A commitment needs a time management skill, and time management skill would be only acquired by structurizing efficiently our life. Okay, so yeah, it's one of the advantages that I can explain so far. Okay, that's from me, Miss Sherina. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sunshine, for the perspective. So let's see, is there anyone who wants to share their opinions? Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, Mr. Ku or Miss Ku? The first one who raised.
Mr.
Ah, yes, Mr. I'm sorry. Okay,
Thanks for the
Mr.
chance
Ku.
given. Yeah,
Okay.
I suppose it's opposite from Mr. Sunshine. If Mr. Sunshine said he's messy person, because I used to be how to say perfectionist and also disciplined. Because how to give the example when we do not apply, when we do not range while structured plan, because when I delay or I postpone one schedule, or yeah, let's say schedule or time, it will even I'm not quite busy person, but at least when we are disciplined, when we are used to be disciplined, at least we can manage our time while having good time management. Even I'm not a management major, but Mr. Sunshine said I'm not the management person, but I try to set them by learning from the how to say Germanist person, that they are really disciplined. I just try to learn about it and apply it in my cultural ecosystem. Even as we know that Indonesian people are not easy to be disciplined people, but I just want to be one of them, even it's not easy as we said.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ku, for his opinion. So, let's see. Mr. Christophorus Raphael.
Okay, thanks for the chance it's given to me.
Okay.
Besides of the opinion, I was the most driven of them because I'm a lazy people. Like, do you know a song named Lazy Song sing by Bruno Mars?
Yes, yes.
That's my life every day. Because
I see.
I don't really think about having a well-structured plan for the future, but I always accepted something big for me. Like I was hoping to get management in University of Game. Like the advance about my life. No, in my life, I get more this advance than this than the advance, because yeah, in my life I just like sleep and then wake up for PJJ and then back again to sleep, and I don't really know how to make a structural plan. Maybe everyone else can teach me how to do that. Thank you.
I see. So, thank you, Mr. Christophorus, for the opinion, but don't say like that. So you will find your way, I think. Everyone has their own dream. So yes, I can kind of feel that maybe we need a rest too from our busy person, but you only haven't find your way maybe. So let's move on to Miss Livia. Hello, Miss Livia.
Hello, Miss.
Hello.
Well, I think that having a well-structured plan for the future is quite helpful and can be more advantageous than the disadvantages of not having plan at all. But sometimes that having a fixed plan can make you stress out, and especially if you cannot reach that goal that you have set since the beginning, right? So in case of there is a sudden incident or something that can make you fail and cannot catch your goal, maybe we should also plan for the other alternative, like making a plan B. Like what if the plan A doesn't go well, so I have to consider about the plan B. The plan B usually cannot be as good as plan A, not as satisfying as plan A because it is alternative. But um, for me, like you have to set up for the plan B in terms of when because usually people when they only expect one thing and cannot prepare for the worst, they will feel like a failure when they cannot get what they want. But actually, a failure is just a part of the journey, and it's very normal to be happen. So nothing to lose about, and just get the plan B for your mental health. So even though you cannot get the star, at least you can get the lamp, and that's okay because life cannot be totally controllable. A lot of things gets out of control. Like a lot of people lose their job, lose their money during the pandemic. It is also the part of stressing people out because they cannot. A lot of people have to change their life plan, have to change their direction of life. But the people who can survive is the people who can handle their emotion quite well and can recovery fast because they have plan B. So when the plan A failed, they don't really get crazy of it. They just switch instantly to the plan B. I think the kind of people who can make a plan A and plan B is the most adaptable people, and they can get success wherever they be. Just that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sylvia, Olivia, sorry. So yes, I kind of agree with Miss Sylvia. We have to, Olivia, we have to manage our future from right now, I guess. So we have to have more than one plan for our future, right? So if we fail from the main our plan, we still have another plan. So let's continue, move on to Mr. Fadil. Hello,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you
Fadil.
very much. It's a lucky time for me. Well, in my perspective and based on my experience also, my mama ever taught me about how to make a good plan, and it's just really well structured, and this is really helpful for me. And also, I agree with Miss Levy, who was talking before. about this question. And in my experience or my perspective, well, if we have a well-structured plan, it will help us for knowing and doing what should we do for our plan in the future. I mean, like, it's not about the list what will we do in every single day or every single activity for reaching something in our future. Okay, and then but we also will make another plan. If we will be failed at that time, we have another plan. Then we will not get stuck or playing or disappointed enough about our first plan. So this is kind of helpful for us if we have if we have a well-structured plan for our future. And also, if we have a structured plan, you will know when you do your what's that your point your list, and it will make your own habit. If I'm so sorry for that, in the past I'm the lazy guy. I'm an unstructured guy. I don't know how to manage my time. But when my mama told me and about how to make a well structure about starting from what's that at 5 p.m. to do my super pray and then until the night, I know what should I do, and this is really helpful for reaching my dream and my goodness. Okay, silent, please. Okay, Mel. And then and I do this one that activity constantly, and this really make me make a good habit. Just imagine if we have no a well structure for our plan in the future. I mean, for the future, yeah, we will not get disciplined. So I mean, the important thing is we know how to make a well structure. Then we can make ourselves to be have a good habitual. I guess that's all. Thank you very much for the time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fadil. So, Mr. Fadil have the same opinion with Miss Livia. I guess I'm agree to both of you. So let's move on to Mr. Sohi Huzini.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. To be honest, I'm not organized person which can arrange time from now until several days or even several months later, because okay, I ever joined soft skills class in my university, and at the time the lecturer said to have well schedule from now until 3 years later or even 5 years later matters for us because it can arrange and organize what we have to do in a certain time. But to be honest, in my perspective, I didn't really applicate what I have written in the text. It means that having a schedule, even having some structured planning, doesn't really work for myself. So to anticipate this thing, I tend to be following person, which organize something if only necessary. If there is something that I should do in the short term sooner, so I will do it directly. But if it is not really necessary, for example, there is some examinations, but it's still a week later, for example. So we'll do it later. We'll study later, not now. So that's why to be having schedule is good actually, because we can avoid missing opportunities. But willy-nilly to have a schedule, it means we have responsibility to apply all the schedules without missing any one schedules anymore. But that is one thing that I cannot be responsible until now. So that's why to lose or to avoid a worry in myself because of losing one schedule from my day, for example. So I tend to be following person who walks in the way of everything that I'm facing right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your opinion, Mr. Sohi Huzini. Yeah, so Mr. Sohi Huzini have both opinions, I see. Let's move on to Mr. Andreas.
Well, thank you for this opportunity. Firstly, is my audio is quite clear? I hope that is my
Yes.
audio quite clear. Yes.
Yes.
Firstly, we want to talk about which one is more advantageous or which one is not quite give a huge beneficiaries than the others plan to the other kinds of plan that is not quite structured. I suppose that the structured plan will will give more beneficiaries rather than the other kind of plan because it's structured. It's based on the experience that you have, and you have the what seems like something that you are desire, and you have a goal to grab it. But otherwise, sometimes when we fail to gain it, so maybe something in the deep of our heart will say that, oh, we are a failure, and it will give you a huge emotional damage. So you will fall apart, and yeah, you will find a gloomy day maybe at the end. But instead of we are seeing about the failure, but I mean, we need to focus on the beneficiaries of it rather than we don't have it. I mean, like when we don't have any goal or many achievement or ambition in our life, it will lead us to be make us as the same creature of the unthinking creature, because they don't have any goals, they don't have any conscious instead. So they will do anything reflexively and without any aim or any ambition. So it will lead us to be someone that what will feel what seems like, how to say, merugi. Yeah, such as that. Please help me, Mr. Sunshine. Yeah, such as that. Uh so it will lead them to find that if we don't have any plan, any structured plan, that is the first thing that I will focus. Secondly, because it's related with the experience that we have before, so we will consider, is it quite well for me for doing it or not, instead of focusing about something that we need to do in the term of our career. We will schedule the time for us for having a healing time, or perhaps the personal time, such as watching movie or what playing game. Those of conducts that will make us happy need to be limited, right? And when we do it without any limitation, we will be a useless person in front of the whole of people all around the world maybe. So because of this consideration, the structured plan for our better future is quite essential, and it is not it cannot be forgotten till the end of our life.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andreas, for your opinion. So yeah, I guess maybe it's good to having a well-structured plan for our yeah, we have uh different 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 opinions about this. Uh, let's move on to Mr. Abi Suhadaputra.
Okay, thank you, Miss Sharina. Yeah, I agree with discipline is mandatory for our life or our business, and then the structure is also mandatory. But I have a different things about the structurized people in my life or in my business life. I don't want to be excessive structurized people because if we have exercise the structure to our plans or our one plan on for the future, so sometimes we don't we we cannot think about the many chance come, and we cannot think out of the box for the chance become. And yeah, my note is I don't want to be excessive surprise people, because this is close another chance of my business, of my life. I think this on my perspective, yeah. And yeah, just it enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adi. So we still have two participants who want to give their opinion. So let's start from Mr. Idris. Sorry, Mr. Idris or Miss Idris. Hello.
Thank you.
Okay,
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. For me, having a well-structured plan for the future is matter because the advantage of our future of our achievement is depend on well-structured plan like this. Uh, having a well-structured plan will reduce our apa ya, our this point then we could not stress out too because we have any option when we fail uh, we fail in several plans, then we have other options to do. I think like that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Idris. So let's move on to Mr. Risno. Mr. Risno.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Mr.
Saria,
Risno.
thank you. I want to have opinion about having a well-structured plan for life thinking and for employee. It's a very advantage because if employee have to plan for to have a good structure in a word, I think must be day to day have the target, and the target must be achieved to the employees. I think this my opinion. Thank.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Risno. Yeah, I think we have two perspective from this topic. Yeah, if we well prepare for our future, so go we can just go on the way. I mean, because we already know what we plan for our future. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, future 3. Career, romance, and study. Which one should be put prior to the others? Prioritizing romance, for example, will study and career follow after it. Okay. Start from Mr. Andres, who raised his hand first. Hello, Mr.
Yes,
Andres.
thank you. Thank you so much for this kind of opportunity for me. Well, from the whole of kinds that you mentioned before, I suppose that something that will make us happier will be prioritized rather than the other option, since we tend to choose something that will fulfill us till the end of our life. Maybe it's gonna be like what we call it. I'm slightly forget about the idealism of this kind of perspective, but the the life for ended as oh yes, I just remember. It's gonna be like a hedonism perspective that we live in our life is because we want to feel happier. So which one will which one is the most will make us happy? So that will be chosen first. Since I'm quiet, what seems like what since my ego see that well education and having a wide perspective will make me happier rather than the others kind of the position. So I will choose the study instead of the others. But I know that two of the options are something essential for my life seems like without any career, so I cannot continue my study, or perhaps when I'm dying without any descendants. So because of this consideration, both of those options will be followed after I gain a well education till the doctoral level, perhaps, or maybe until I gain a professor title. Yeah.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Idris. So let's move on to Mr. Yan. Hello, Mr.
Hello,
Yan.
Miss. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
Can
you.
you?
Occasion given by Miss Sherina. I will answer about this question. Which one should be put prior to the others? For as long as I concern, study is more important when we arrange our future. That study is more prestige way that we need to be planned. That we can imagine that the success of one person is determined on the study that he or she had been done after it. For prioritizing romance, for example, will study and career follow after it? For me, I cannot answer this clearly because everyone has their own experience when they are prioritizing about this. But as far as concerned, I think I still prioritizing study rather than career and romance. So when we have succeed with our study and career, then our romance will follow. Thank you, Miss Sherina.
Okay, thank you, Mr. So let's move on to Mr. Sohi Huzini.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So according to my age right now, to prioritize career and also romance, I think not really my priority. I cannot completely achieve 100% to accomplish, for example, or even to have a romance or romantic life in my life, because I still have an obligation to study. So considering to choose one of them, I will prioritize studying as my priority for now, okay? Because no other obligations for me to do except studying. Because career and romance, for career, maybe I shape it by learning, by studying, but to have a romantic life, for now, people have their own perspective, but in my perspective, to be having a romantic life while studying is not a good choice. I want to have my focus only on studying and achieving and shaping my career in the future. Then I believe for the question number 2, it's not my type, it's not my cup of tea. So I will choose studying will studying will be followed by career and also romance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. So let's move on to Mr. Satrio. Hello, Mr. Satrio.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello, Miss Sherina. Well,
Hello,
for me, it's quite interesting question actually. But first of all, I would say that care between career, romance, and study, it's the important things in people's life. But it depends on the people how they see the priority. They should choose which one is their priority first, because everyone has their own time. For example, it is a different it will be different perspective for the people who are in the 20 years old, and then it will be a different perspective as well for the people in their 30s age period. So I guess everyone has their own time and has their own period to choose what will be their first priority first, even even though it is about the career, romance, or also study. But if I am at this situation, of course I will choose study first as my first priority, because study in current moment is the most valuable or most valuable value for people's life. If they got well study and well education as well, they probably if they get the good career, the good romance, and the the romantic the romantic romance will come to their life. So that's all from me.
Okay, thank you to Mr. Satrio. So let's move on to Mr. Christophorus Raphael.
Okay, thanks for the chance you given to me. If I
Okay.
should be prior to the others between career, romance, and study, I would choose the career and study first. I can imagine if I prioritizing romance cause just wasting our time. Like because I will prioritize my career and study first. Because if romance is useless, because my face is not compatible and will actually hurt myself, like being decline or something. So for me, it's better to study and career, and later we can get success, and we can we'll go to romance. Like Habibi said, if only a love and no money, it will hurt you. But a great love, if you have a romance and also a money to live in. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Christophorus. But don't say that to yourself, okay? You have to be confident. Okay, let's move on to Miss Sophie.
Yes. Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Sophie. Yes, we can. Okay.
Yeah, I
Miss
think it's always be based on personal opinion. Like we can hear from the previous speakers have said. I would like to say we can balance all of them, but based on my experience, we actually can't because it's gonna be affected um, with one another. But I a bit disagree about one of the speaker who said that if we do the love and study at the same time, our study will be not pretty much good. It will give us disadvantage. But I think it's actually based on the partner or how good the relationship is. We can actually it can be bad impact for like our our partner is not supportive for us, but it is actually the opposite too. When we can grow up together or supporting our study each other, maybe we can graduate it faster, or we can what is that? Mm, berprestasi together if our relationship is good enough or supporting enough for this for our study. But for me myself, I would like to prioritize the study first since I'm also a student now, and I'm the type of person who can focus on many things at the same time. So I need to focus on one thing first, so I can jump into another. So I will choose the study. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to Mr. and Miss Sophie. Now let's move on to Miss Livia. Hello, Miss Livia.
Hello.
Hello.
My opinion, romance is not important for me. As long as you have support system that can exchange that, I think that's okay. So I prefer to make a priorities between career and study, but sometimes we cannot choose which one because not all of us have a financial condition that is stable enough. So you can study and pay for your study without working, right? So we have to still working while we are continuing our study. So I mean, in this case, the career that give you money and study that give you knowledge and skill, both of them are important. I think just like the other participant that say, oh, romance will follow. Are you sure it is romance? Because they follow your money, not your real self. I mean, like, are they really love you for whoever you are, or are they love you for what you can give to them? What's your social status? What's your appearance that can change by your career? What's your anything but you, but yourself? So I'm a little bit skeptic about romance, and I prefer to prioritize the career and study. That's all important. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Livia. Let's move on to Mr. Fadil. This is the last person who wants to
Yes,
give.
I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Fadil. So let's start.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to me. I hope that I can give my best statement here based on my experience or my feeling perhaps. So go on. At the first, I want to ask you first, Miss Sharina. May I ask you something? One question only.
Okay.
Have you ever heard someone or some people say, if I have a best couple in my life, I can do everything wisely, wild, and better than this? Have you ever heard that?
Maybe.
Maybe. And if I get the best my couple, if I get best couple for my life, if I have a good romance in my life, it could be a good life ever because I can do everything happily. I can do everything easily because everything is colorful. If we have a nice romance life, do you think is that true or just hallucination or just empty words?
But for my own opinion, I think I'm not that using romance. So I don't believe it because
Okay.
you know we live in this era. Everything needs money, I think. So romance.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you very much, Miss Serena. Well, I do agree with you because I guess romance is not our priority right now, or forever perhaps. Because if we put romance for our priority, it means that we set the romance is unnaturally. I mean, how to say tidak natural? Because I do believe if we want to have a good romance life, it will come naturally because we will fall in love with someone naturally, right? We will not, yeah, just I love you because I want. No, I love you because that's the destiny, that's fate. I love you because I love you. It's come naturally. I see your eyes and then yeah, I want to love you. There is no plan. Oh, I want to love Selena Gomez. There is no plan, right? So it means that there is no priority for romance. Let's talk it for the romance. It's not our priority. It means that romance is in the end, or will follow it naturally. Okay, and then for my priority, because if we want to be better life and we have a future, a better future in the future, better future in the future, or better life in the future, I mean, we need to have a good knowledge. It will be started as study. But let's say study is not always reading a book. Study is doing something, then you get a new lesson, new experience. That's study that I mean, in my perspective. When I do something in my job and something new in my daily activity, that's a study. So let's say a career and a study is a different thing. But I will say study in my job is also having my new career. Well, but my priority is study more, get new and lot of experience for my life, and then I will improve myself day by day, step by step, little by little, and then it will help and push my career for the better shape or better form for my future life. That's all I guess. So I will put my study, I don't know, beside between read a book and have a lot knowledge, or have an was that a lot experience. I will make it balance for pushing my career. So I guess let's say study is the first one, my priority. Thank you very much, Ms. Serena. Hello, I guess that I'm done.
Hello, is my connection work?
Sharina, I couldn't hear your voice, Miss Sharina. Are you here with us? Okay, seems like she's having a problem. Okay. Okay, cool.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Your voice is audible right now.
Like no.
Okay, cool. Yeah. It starts getting better. Keep it cool.
Okay. Our topic. Thank you, Mr. Fadil, for the opinion. So let's move on to the next page. How significant the role and influence of environment toward our optimism. Okay, let's see. Okay. Is there anyone who wants to share? Okay, Mr.
Hello, Miss Irina.
Okay. Let's hear your opinion.
Okay. Well, this question also it dragged me to answer wisely, or it's, I guess it will be not correctly, but it's just on my on perspective as well. So everyone has their own life, so it is also important to have a role model, and to know who will guide you to follow your dream and to reach your goal. And I would say as also that sorrow yourself with the good environment or with the good circle, it will be more helpful or will be beneficial thing to guide you and also to help you to walk and then to reach your dream in the next future. So I guess it's very related with our optimism. So I would conclude that the good role model and the good circle will guide us to reach our goal in the next future with the optimism. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Satrio. So let's move on to Miss Sophie.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me, Miss?
Okay.
Okay. This is actually a very good question, but when we're talking the environment who will affects the way of our thinking, or the way we behave as a human and act, is actually not only the environment who near with us, such as family, friends, or neighbor, but we have another surrounding, um, for example, the people who we connect with through the internet or social media. That's also will give us big effect of those kind of things. So since there is no limit about how far we can touch or searching something through the internet, I think we can always have the option to make a good environment for ourselves. And even though we have so many different surroundings, such as I mentioned before, family, we have friends, close friends, and then co-workers. Uh, we are adults who smart enough to divide which one we can prioritize, or which one we can spend time more with, and which one we don't. So I think there's no such as um, reason or excuse that I behave like this because I surrounded by close-minded people or toxic environment. We can always have the option to choose. Thank you.
Okay, Miss Sophie, that's a good opinion. So let's move on to Mr. Andres. Hello, Mr.
Thank you
Andres.
for this question. Yeah. When we are talking about the environment, there are two conducts that we could do towards it. First is about the mitigation for facing it. I mean, like we need to do some preparation for making a well environment so we can do everything optimal. Secondly, we try to adapt with the situation that we face. So something that I will say here is about the adaptational level. I mean, like we face something that we cannot mitigate it anymore. So when we see about the situation that we have to adapted. So we need to try to see it. I mean, like why we feel, or maybe why we cannot do something quite optimal rather than on the other environment or perhaps on the other condition, space, place, or temperature, pressure, or the others. So sometimes we face a kind of the situation that is not quite optimal for our working, but on the other hand, the environment supporting us for making us do anything quite optimal and make us fulfillment quite well. So so I want to say that here is the environment is something that will give us hugely significant thing towards us towards the what something like the productivity of us that we want to make in our work. Thank you. Sorry.
Miss Serena, you can
Okay,
unmute.
thank you.
We
Oh,
couldn't hear
hello,
you. Okay, yeah. Now it's cool.
hello, sir.
Yeah. You're
Sunshine.
audible. Yes, you are audible.
Hello, Mr. Sunshine. Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's wait for a while. Seems like there is a problem with a connection. Okay, let's.
Oh, sorry, Sunshine.
Okay, that's okay.
Soalnya lagi hujan. Okay, let's move on to Mr. Fadil.
Yeah, I'm here. On the last one, perhaps always.
Yes, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Fadil.
Okay. I thank you very much. I want to tell to you guys that I ever get this story or some motivational speech, perhaps from someone or perhaps from my mother or my father, but they ever told me like this: if you live in one environment, it's depend on you or depend on your environment to live and how to treat them in one time. I mean, okay, let's say the environment is not really influensive enough for our optimism. And also, I want to say that it's depend on our self and our personalities also. What I want to say is dominated by what's that? Our personality. It's kind of 50-50 because my mother or my trainer ever said that if you live in one environment, you need to decide which one are you. Are you the ink or the water? If you are the ink, it means you can influence people around the environment. Be the ink and color the environment or people around you. If you are the water, it means that you let people to color you, to influence you. So it's back to us for the first. If we want to decide ourselves as a water, it means that we will let the environment or the people will affect us or influence us as the person who just like that environment. Perhaps like we can say that the environment is pessimism. How to say orang pessimism? Can I say pessimism? And then we perhaps we can be someone who really I'm confident enough for doing something, but we can push our limit even though the environment very much, Mr. Sunshine. Even though the environment is not supporting enough for us to be a optimism person, but we can decide ourselves to be in, to force and come get out from our different personalities. So if we master enough in our personality, perhaps okay, I don't want to waste my statement, but let's say make it simple. I have experience in the past. I'm introvert guy, and I'm kind of unconfident people to talk about something. But now in my environment, it's supporting me. But I also try to push myself to be expressive person. So it's that also or crucial enough for environment for us to be optimism, but also us. Do we want to support ourselves to be optimism person or not? If we want to support or push ourselves to have a good or optimism, yeah, perhaps the environment can help us to make it just like 100%. I guess that is all. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fadil. So let's move on to the last person, participant, Delita, Miss Delita. Hello, Miss Delita. Okay.
Hello. Thank you. Well, I think that it will greatly, what is that? Like berpengaruh to our optimism to do something, because the environment can make us the standard to do something. Like we can find our role model from our environment. Like, oh, I want to be like my father, I want to be like my sister, I want to be like my friends or everyone in our circle, like that. And yeah, I also believe that having a supportive environment is what is that, like we can call it like privilege for someone to have a good optimism. One of the factors, like like Maudy Ayunda or Putri Tanjung, they can reach their success. I think because of one of the factor is because maybe they have a good environment. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss Delita. So, is Mr. Sunshine have
Burden, Sherina?
Is Mr. Sunshine want to share your opinion too?
Okay, anyway, since you provide me a space, then I would like to convey, not my feeling, my view. Okay. Okay. I do agree with everyone saying that it depends on the personality. It depends on the person itself. So I guess everyone ever heard like a proverb, a single and short one: be yourself. But how can we be ourselves if we are an interpretations of so many colors affecting us consciously and unconsciously? Means that we couldn't get rid of the influence of others toward us, and we simply filterize. We simply become the filter to select which one that suit with our personality, with our inclination. And that's why I say that the significance of environments toward optimism is probably something that missed from the previous speakers is how they define optimism. Okay, so optimism is like probably unbeatable willingness to keep struggling despite knowing even the worst case scenario. Okay, so I guess that having worst scenario probably would induce people to become more pessimist, given up, or just to surrender. But anyway, the environments, as the previous speaker said, um, it can set as a supporting system, something that can heal, that can reconstruct our belief. Okay. Okay, I think that's all for me because we have a very little time and still so many slides to discuss, right? Okay, thank you.
So let's move on to next topic. So future 5. Which one is more contagious, easily frustrated or motivated? Do you think gender plays as an even invisible key in that part? Is there anyone who wants to share opinions here in this part? Miss Delta? Miss Delta? Okay.
Mr. Tommy.
Miss Livia? Hello,
Is Mr.
Miss.
Tommy? Is Mr. Tommy turn?
Mm,
Oh, okay.
No, Miss Livia, it's yours.
Oh, okay. I confused. Okay. This is interesting question. Which one is more contagious, easily frustrated or motivated? I guess people are more contagious about negative things or negative feelings. I think negativity is more contagious in general rather than positivity. I don't know why, but usually people tend it's easier to be negative than to be more positive. Even though we know there's a lot of people who can masking their positivity, like being a toxic positivity also is not good. But I guess a lot of people are falling to like frustration and depression just because of the majority of the people in their society or in their environment also feels like that. Imagine like we are social creatures, right? We are controlled by 70% of emotion and only 30% of logic. So goes from that, we can see that we are more vulnerable to be affected by negative emotion. But this is this will be different if we have someone who can encourage us in the way that is really meaningful to us. Like they know our weaknesses and they know our strength and they want to help us to bring the best version of us. It's on different level. It feels like a personal coach, but in general, people are very easy to be negative than to be positive because of the environment. So about the gender plays as an invisible key in that part, yes. I guess women are more easily to be influenced by their family mood, or their family condition. If their family happy, usually the woman will feel happier. But if the family has a lot of problems or a lot of arguments, they usually get frustrated by that. But for the men usually their problems are more about their career, their their personal things outside the family. Yeah, sometimes the family also, of course. But usually men are more focused and more prioritize their personal achievement, their um their personal things. Maybe perhaps their hobbies or their career or their work job like that. So I guess yeah, gender plays some differences in that part. But about the easily frustrated or motivated, I think both gender are the same. Both men and women can get motivated and also frustrated because we are conformist creatures, right? We do a lot of conformity in order to keep the balance and the harmony between each other in this society as a human being. Just that. Thank you.
Let's hear Mr. Fadil opinion. Hello, Mr. Fadil.
Salute.
Hello.
Okay. My opinion actually is quite simple, and I don't want to give a lot statement or anything. Contagious for being motivated. I don't know why. Ding down. So yeah, I'm getting, it's like mood swing, you know. I'm easily getting motivated, and I'm easily getting frustrated. And if we talk about the gender, I guess that, let's say in my perspective and my data say that the female always plays based on feeling. I don't know. It's about my data. Please don't blame on me. I'm so sorry for my mistake. In my data say that mostly the female always plays on based on feelings, and was that the male always plays something based on their logic. So it means that when we getting motivated, because we think more about the possibility that we can get from the male side, but perhaps from the girl, if they getting frustrated or motivated because yeah, they feel it, they feel the possibility, they feel the euphoria. But for the guy, or not for the guy, for the male, we just think by our logical thinking about every single side, perhaps the possibility, impossibility, or yeah, how about if we fail at later, we will get frustrated because we think or do something by our logical thing. I guess that. Thank you very much.
But maybe not all of the women will use their feeling, only use
Yeah,
their feeling, I guess.
yeah, I guess so. I do believe also that mostly.
Mostly, okay. Okay, next is Mr. Tommy. Hello, Mr. Tommy.
Hello, am I
Hello.
audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I think this is a good question for discussing tonight in future life. Which one is more contagious, easily frustrated or motivated? Yeah. I think in my mind, frustrated and motivated, it can be interchangeable. Yeah. Some in the specific condition, you can be more motivated, become from the frustrated first, right? Sometimes if you have the problem and then that the problem make you facing the complicated condition and you will be frustrated about that, I think so you decided to resolve your problem, and then you trying to get your way, you trying to get the solution about that. So I think after you got frustrated, you will be more motivated. So and then sometimes you are the most motivation person, yeah, most motivated person But if you cannot get what your purpose in the specific time, I think if you have not the clearly vision about that, so I think you will become frustrated. So it can be interchangeable. And if you wanna ask about the gender, which one the mostly easy to getting frustrated, or which one the most motivated? Yeah, I think for the man or woman, it's same. Yeah, it's the same condition, have the same condition, I think. Sometimes women more easily to getting frustrated if they have the big problem and then they have not partner to discuss about that. But in the some condition, I believe woman is the strong people in the world, yeah, because she can doing in the multitasking, right? She can cooking in the same time. She must be pick up the phone and call with her colleagues, or if you are a mother, you can breakfast for your son or your doctor, and then in the same time you must answer the husband asking about where is my uniform, blah 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 blah. Then I think, yeah, for a man, that situation feel make his feel more frustrated, right? So if gender is, if we need to quiz the gender, which one the more frustrated, I think depend on the condition. In the morning, yeah, in the routine morning activities, I think a woman is the most stronger people than men, yeah. Especially moreover if a woman is a wife and a man is a husband. And then the second one, for the in the working environment, I think in the same condition, in the same place, or in the specific company, they need to consider gender to recruit their employee. For example, if usually the or majority of the environment is need to be, yeah, doing by men, and then the employee will be, so they need to ensure this is must be doing by men, because for women sometimes, yeah, they have the a routine condition every month, and then sometimes that condition, it's gonna be a consideration for company to recruit the woman. I think that's my opinion, Miss. Thank you.
Agree with Mr. Tommy, and in my own opinion, I think that both gender have their own part in life, and they fulfill each other part. That's my opinion. So let's move on to Mr. Abi.
Yeah, thank you. Is I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Before we're thinking about the contagious, yeah, of course, we need to talk about the environment behind the condition. Yeah, because the easily frustrated or more motivated is depends on the, for example, the family or society and maybe jobs, friends. Of course, we need to set up this environment by ourselves and by our family to get a good condition, and we can control for the results. It will be easily frustrated, or it will be more motivated. And yeah, in my notes, the important is environment as a factor to influence that two things. And then for the gender place, yeah, I have to similar opinion with Mr. Tommy, and male and female is have a similar condition, or the similar what on the easily frustrated or motivated. Back to the environment as influence, yeah, I think. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Adi. So since we have 4 minutes left, let's wrap all the today section. So is there anyone who like to give summarize or to give the conclusion about today's topic? Is there anyone who like to summarize? Okay, I see there's no one who want to give the conclusion. So I'm gonna choose one of you all. So choose Mr. Fadil.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Mr. Fadil, can you give us the conclusion about today's topic?
The conclusion about this topic. Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Sharina, for this opportunity to give a conclusion, and thank you for you guys for giving your perspective about this kind of interesting topic. And the conclusion is I can give you much or many conclusion that is kind of simple. For me, my conclusion is it's a hard thing actually for me to make a the conclusion is but before that, I'm sorry for my mistake if I wrong to give. Was that the conclusion? Please forgive me. Okay, and yeah, try to fix me because I'm learning here. And the conclusion is if we want to make, I don't know, let's say for the future, we need to prepare and set everything wisely. And expect to our environment or in our personality, or we are being motivated or frustrated, let's say from our goal in the future and what is our to-do list now. If you have a plan, you need to make sure that you are ready enough for doing that your plan, and try to ensure yourself that you will do it constantly and consistently. Yeah, consistently and constantly. Because, however, if you already make a good plan, but you do not do it constantly, and you didn't make well-structured plan for your future, and you can manage or control yourself, even though your environment is not supporting you, you need to struggle for what? For reaching your future. So for you guys, keep it up, keep on track for reaching your future. Thank you very much. Para Bagasuara, that's my
Okay, thank you,
And back to
Mr.
Miss.
Fadil. Okay. Thank you everyone for being here today. I'm sorry if there's any mistake that I made during the today's section. So let's get back to Mr. Sunshine.
Okay, thank you so much, Sherina, and everyone who participate in delivering and exchanging ideas and notions about how sophisticatedly complicated thinking about future is. Okay, well, everyone, I'd like to give you several feedbacks based on our discussion before. Okay, for and our attention this one. Okay, wait a moment. Okay, I don't know, but to relate teacher and love is somehow quite interesting. Okay, I hope that you can see the white screen that I shared. Okay, the first one is regarding to this question. So when you say regarding, means you do not need to put two of them. Okay, jadi cukup langsung aja regarding this question itu, atau misalnya kamu bisa pakai in regard to, with regard to, ya, atau in respect to, with respect to this question. Jadi pilihannya regarding tanpa to, atau with regard to, atau with respect to. I always to think, ya ini ya, biasanya juga kayak gitu. Banyak yang mengira adverb of frequency itu termasuk kata kerja atau auxiliary, modal auxiliary seperti must. I can to think, nah itu harus hati-hati lagi ya di situ. Jadi tidak perlu menggunakan to. To hanya digunakan untuk prinsipal verb aja, kata kerja utama aja. I think to manage my time well, gitu ya. Germanist person, ya kamu bisa bilang Germanese gitu aja, Germany aja gitu. Jadi nggak perlu dikasih Germanese person. Seperti misalnya Indonesian itu sudah berarti Indonesian people and Indonesian language, sudah berarti bahasa Indonesia atau orang Indonesia. Will give more beneficial, hati-hati dengan kelas kata atau bentuk kata gitu ya. Jadi harusnya bukan menggunakan adjective. Beneficial is adjective, ya, kata bendanya adalah benefits, gitu ya, seperti advantages dan advantage, gitu ya. Oke, to be happen, terjadi. Jadi happen itu kata kerja aktif yang bermakna pasif, seperti occur, gitu ya. Jadi kamu tidak perlu membuat itu pasif agar bermakna pasif, gitu. Jadi ketika diaktifkan bukan berarti happen itu bermakna jadi, tapi dia tetap bermakna terjadi. Jadi to happen aja udah bermakna terjadi, gitu ya. Merugi bisa suffer atau loss. My face is not compatible. Oke, compatible itu kayak bahasa-bahasa yang kalau istilahnya itu nggak collocate kalau dibawa ke konteks ini ya. Compatible itu bahasa yang mungkin sistem ya, berkaitan sama sistem atau teknologi. Ya, misalnya my face is not that good looking. Nah, itu lebih proper ya. Oke. Tadi juga ada yang mempronunciate atau melafalkan said. So many said, harusnya said gitu, ditarik a gitu ya, said gitu. Jadi bukan said bacanya. I'm not prioritizing romance. Nah itu ya. Jadi harusnya apa? Prioritizing romance over apa? Tidak natural, unnatural itu. Kemudian to be optimism person, itu kamu bisa bilang to be optimist. Ya, to be an optimist atau to be optimistic. Itu jangan lupa apa ya, the most common mistakes ya, either in speaking or writing. Kalau writing gampang banget identified-nya adalah kita membiarkan kata benda itu tanpa status, plural atau singular. Gitu. Jadi pastikan kalau misalnya dia jamak kasih quantifiers atau perjelas dengan adanya s setelahnya, atau kalau misalnya dia singular pastikan dia ada artikel an atau the sebelumnya, gitu ya. Effect bisa menggunakan influence atau impact, artinya mempengaruhi. Cuma yang membedakan impact itu memberikan dampak yang lebih sangat, gitu ya, sangat mempengaruhi, gitu ya. Jadi seperti misalnya careful, ada istilahnya cautious. Careful, hati-hati. Cautious, sangat hati-hati. Beautiful, cantik. Gorgeous, sangat cantik. Gitu ya. Oke. Bad, buruk. Awful, sangat buruk. Oke, if you don't have the clearly vision, ya, itu perhatikan. Jadi jangan mengira adverb of manner menjadi adjective, gitu ya. If you don't have clear vision, gitu ya. Jadi harus dibedakan. Walaupun kita bisa tidak hanya menggunakan adverb of manner untuk mensifati kata kerja, tetapi juga untuk menjelaskan kata benda dan kata sifat. Ya, seperti sophisticatedly complicated discussion. Nah, itu juga bisa. Itu bisa ya. Oke, yang terakhir is I audible. Ya, karena kita rentan banget menggunakan is ya. Kita menggunakan is almost in everything, almost for every subject. Oke, itu jadi coba besok-besok kalau misalnya menggunakan is, lihat dulu direm dulu. Oke, subjeknya apa tuh? I, berarti am I audible? Are you audible? Itu is she, it is audible. Oke. Mungkin itu saja untuk sharingnya teman-teman dari segi yang bisa aku tambahkan. So we come to the last session and that is taking picture together. So please kindly open the camera so that I can take a share screen with you. A photo session with you. Okay. Okay, I can see Mr. Rabi, Januar, Miss Chris, Mr. Chris, Sherina, Mr. Hush, Satrio, okay. Miss Livia, Rishno, Sherina. Oh, there is two Serina. There are two Serinas. Okay, Delita, Mr. Tommy, I couldn't see you. Okay, cool. Okay. Delita, Livia. Okay, wait a moment. Okay. Okay, let's wait for a while. Okay. Miss Delita. Okay, you have time to tidy your appearance to make you look more how to say hypnotizing maybe. Okay, well guys, I guess if you're ready, then I'm going to count you till 3. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. Wait a moment, I'm going to save this. Wait. Okay, one more time. Okay, please change your style. Okay, jangan sampai mati gaya, walaupun banyak gaya juga mati. 1, 2, 3. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for attending our discussions. I'm going to see you again for the next OTA discussion, as usual, based on our schedule. Okay, so see you. And the last I say, hey, OTA. Yesterday.
Yesterday, tomorrow.
Hey guys, thank you, Miss Serena.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.